Welcome to the This Justin podcast by your host Justin, and today is our first podcast of March. So, congratulations to you all. And today we're going to talk about James Harden. And currently, James Harden has been making a bit of an MVP case in Brooklyn. And he's currently averaging 26 points, about 11 assists a game. I believe he's leading the league in assists and about 8 rebounds, 9 rebounds actually. So he's got a decent stat line. And today we're going to talk about, does James Harden, stand a chance, and can James Harden become not only a candidate but a favorite to win the league MVP this year? And I'll just go out and straight say it. I don't think he does, and it's for a few reasons. One of them being, I look at James Harden and I look at James Harden's overall legacy, but let's specifically talk about the seasons he's played. You look at back 2 years ago in 2019 when I believe Giannis won his first MVP. Look what James Harden did then. He averaged 36 points per game. And I'm pretty sure he led the league in steals, which is a weird stat considering we don't really see James Harden as a elite defender. So, and his team was obviously elite in the Western Conference and, led them to the playoffs. I mean, if he couldn't win an MVP then, and I think he should have. I think Giannis had a great season. I think they gave to him. I think if there's anyone deserving of being a two-time MVP, I'd take Harden over Giannis because I think Harden should have won that year. That would have been his second MVP because 2018 he won one over LeBron. Yeah, and I was controversial on that take, but hey, if you want to give the MVP to Harden that year, he deserved it. Next year, I think he should have been a back-to-back MVP. Giannis had a great season that year, but I think Harden had a better overall season. And I've been critical and skeptical of James Harden for the longest, but I have to admit he deserved that MVP. So you look at then, he had not only one of the best seasons of his career, but one of the best seasons of all time. And I can't remember the last time. I think Kobe back when Steve Nash won it. You remember that? Kobe, I believe, averaged 35 a game and led his team with. They eventually Steve Nash and Kobe, Lakers Suns would meet up in the playoffs. It didn't end well for the Lakers, but yeah, I look at James Harden, and if he could have won an MVP then, which he should have, I don't see him winning now because I think this goes to my original point. I think he's had better overall seasons in which he hadn't won an MVP award. You remember when Westbrook won his first MVP? Harden had an amazing stat line. He had a better stat line and probably overall case than he does right now in Brooklyn. But he happened to lose to Russell Westbrook, who was averaging a triple double, which at the time was spectacular. Now he does it now, and we lost excitement for it. But we understand why Westbrook got it, and even when Curry won his first one, I believe over Harden, I think you could have made an argument for Harden because I think you could make an argument he had a better season, and he was definitely more valuable to his team. So, I look at, yeah, Harden should be a 3-time MVP, and it's unfortunate he's not. And I genuinely believe that his time to win MVPs has passed because he's had such great regular seasons. It's hard. It's hard to to win an MVP. And it's kind of like with LeBron, and this is why I said LeBron could never, not never, but is unlikely to win an MVP because he's had so many great seasons in the past. And, the only way we could really give him the award is if he were to have a better season than he did in the past. And it's hard to have, you're talking about a guy who had an all-time great season and still lost the award. It's hard to do that, but that's what I do. I think you have to have one of your best overall seasons in your career. And though Harden's having a good season this year, we must admit he was sloppy. when he was getting traded to Brooklyn. Before he got traded, he wasn't playing that many games. He sat out a few games. He was a little bit inconsistent. He comes to Brooklyn, and I think the record of Brooklyn would have probably been the favorites in the East regardless of Harden. Now they're the definitive favorites. So I don't think the record matters considering you had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I mean, you better be a great team in the Eastern Conference, especially the Eastern Conference. So I don't think the record matters. I think James Harden is obviously contributing to Brooklyn's win, and especially considering Kevin Durant's been out. But yeah, I just don't see there being a legit case. I think he's had better seasons. I think he's gonna need to have. I couldn't tell you what he would need to do, because typically the MVP comes down to team and individual performance, and both. I can't give James Harden solely credit for, at least team wise, because he has a great team, and individual wise because he's had better seasons in the past.